checkmate with a queen or with a rook is relatively easy. Now, sometimes you will be in the situation to have to give checkmate with two bishops, and that is a little bit trickier. Like in the previous examples, you have to keep in mind that two bishops alone cannot give checkmate. They need the help of the king. And there are a few principles that you need to follow, and in the moment, Yisroel is going to demonstrate them. But let me first tell you that the first stage of the game is to put your bishops together. By putting your bishops together, you are creating the barrier that the opponent's king cannot penetrate, which means that the space for this king is very much limited. Then the next stage, once you have your bishops together, stopping the king from going out, the next stage is to bring your king forward to help your two bishops win more space. And that's how you're going to push this king further and further until it reaches the back rank. So here, black has to wait. There are no active moves for black. And as you can see, this king is coming closer and closer, winning more space. And eventually, when this king can no longer go back and forth because of your king, that's when you again put your bishops next to each other and you cut off a little bit more space away from your opponent. Very, very quickly, this king will only have two moves. So now the king is at the back rank, it only has two moves, and it is time to go to the final stage. And that final stage is driving the king into the corner and checkmating the king. What you need to do in such a position is to drive the king this way. You do it by stopping the king from coming back with your bishop. King will go here. Then you want again to stop the king from going back, so the next move is going to be bishop to d7, driving the king closer and closer to the edge of the board. King g8, and now you go into a position. That is very important because from this position you need to be able to give checkmate in just three moves, regardless of whether the king goes to f8 or to h8. Let's have a look at both possibilities. If king goes to f8, it's going to be check, followed by another check, followed by the checkmate. And if the king goes not to f8 but into the corner immediately, we have the same three moves. So again, we are going to put the bishop on d6. By the way, this is a good moment to make sure that you don't stalemate the king accidentally. A move like this would stalemate the king because the bishop would cut off the escaping square on the 8th rank and the king cannot move forward because of the white king. The game would end in a stalemate, which is definitely not something that you want when you are two bishops up. So, bishop d6 instead, followed by the check, followed by bishop to e5, checkmate, and the game finishes. So from the starting position, what would you do, Yisroel? What would be the first thing for you to do to checkmate the black king?
Firstly, I would connect my bishops together.
Very good. King here. King there.
And then I would drag my king next to the bishop.
King here.
And then I'll put my bishop on e4.
Very good. This move would not be possible without the king supporting the bishop. Otherwise, the king would simply take it. But because this bishop is protected by the king, this king is helping the bishops to gain more and more squares. Very good. King goes back.
I would put my bishop next to the other bishop, which is the white bishop.
And what happens now is that the king has even less space than one moment ago. King to d6.
And then I'll keep on repeating what I've done in the first place. So I will keep on putting my king up.
Very good. King to e6.
And put my bishop on e5.
5. All right. King d7.
And I'll put my white bishop squared next to it.
All right. And king goes to d7.
And I will keep on pushing the king up next to the bishop, so it will protect it.
Very good. King e7.
And I will keep on doing this until he goes to the bottom rank.
Bishop d6. Very good. So now this king has only 2 squares. What are you going to do next?
I'm gonna push my king up.
So in this situation, are you going to checkmate the black king in this corner or in that corner?
I would checkmate it in that corner because the king, my king, is closest to that corner. So I'll
Very
checkmate
good.
it from there.
Very good. So because this king is closer to the corner, it's easier to chase black king over there. Alright, well this is going to be my next move. Now what do you do?
So I will cut this square off so he can't go back to his normal spot.
Very good. The king can no longer go in that direction and has to go further away. So king
And then
f8.
I will keep on pushing him over to that corner where I want him to go.
Alright, king g8.
And I will keep him doing that.
Okay, well here there is one more that you have to keep in mind. You don't want the king to escape, because once the king is on the back rank, you want to keep it on the back rank. You don't want it to come to the 7th rank. So what would be the move to stop the king from going there?
The king G6.
The king move, you follow the king. By the way, if you make a mistake, this would be a tiny little mistake, but that would allow king to come out. Then you would have to repeat the position a little bit in order to get the king to go back to the back rank. If you happen to make a mistake, you still have plenty of time to correct it and give the checkmate. King g6, that's your last move. Alright, very good. And I will try to get out of the bind.
But now I'm going to do bishop d6.
Forcing my king to go to g8.
And then I will play bishop e6.
And when my king is in the corner,
The last move would be checkmate, which is bishop e5.
excellent. And that would be the way to checkmate with 2 bishops and the king versus the king.